So I could not, for the life of me, think of an intro for this week's video. I tried, believe me, I did my best, but I couldn't think of one. So I'm just gonna give you my favorite F2 driver, blurred right here. Can you guess who it is? In 3, 2, it's Sean Galale, the KFC king. I'm totally kidding. He's just special. So yes, hello, welcome everyone back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. Happy to have you here with us today. Now, for this week, we're changing things up a bit. It's no longer Apex F1. It is now Apex F2, just for one video basically, but still Apex F2. We're going to be talking about Formula 2 today, and if any of you out there don't know what Formula 2 is, I highly recommend you watch it. It's usually on around the same time as F1 weekends. You just kind of have to watch races for a little bit longer, which that is not a bad thing at all. But basically, Formula 2 is kind of the feeder stepping stone series to Formula 1. If you do well in this series, you've got a pretty good shot at getting into Formula 1 as long as you have an F1 team kind of backing you as their driver academy. So what's so special about this series? Basically, the cars are exactly the same. The engines, the chassis, everyone has the exact same unit to have to work with. The only thing that changes is the driver skill and how the team sets up the car. So basically, you are going against the best of the best in your age group, and whoever's the best wins, because there's no, oh, this guy has the better power unit, this guy has the better aero package. Everyone is on the same level playing ground, and it is so incredibly exciting to watch, and I love watching it, and it's kind of, undercovered in my opinion. So we're going to be going through today and going through all the liveries that are on the F2 grid for 2020, ranking them from worst to best. And in my opinion, by the way, this is the best looking F2 grid in a long time. We got some lookers here, but yeah, let's take a look at it. All right, so we're going to get right into this right now, starting at number 11, because yes, there's 11 teams on the F2 grid making up 22 drivers, which makes it even more exciting to watch, even better of a reason to get your eyeballs onto this series. But number 11 is a team that last year had a beautiful car, had a really good looking car, not a great driver. Rest in peace, Lord Mahavir, but it is the MP. The MP this year is driven by Felipe Drugovich and Nobuharu Matsushita. Beautiful car last year, absolute dud this year. The problem with this livery that I have most is the color scheme has so much potential, and we saw that in 2019. But in 2020, you guys know I don't like those diagonal lines going across the car like that. It is not a looker. Also, I'm not sure if it's just the image I have here that is pre-season, but there's not a lot of sponsorships on the car. It's very blank, it's very empty, but I'm not a fan of it. It looks really bad on track too. When you're watching the races, it just looks very big and clunky compared to the other cars, and they're all the exact same, so there's no excuses for that. So the MP going last on my list. So next up, coming in at number 10, another team that in the past has had some very good looking cars, particularly 2018 Lando Norris, absolutely stunning looking Carlin. But for 2020, Carlin has gone with two drivers that have a Red Bull backing, Yuki Tsunoda and Jehan Daruvala, and it's just Red Bull F2. There's no way about it. It's just the exact same car as the F1 car, but it's on the F2 car, and it's just boring. I've seen it before. It's nothing special, but it's nowhere near as bad as that MP, but it's just a bit of a snooze fest compared to what they've done in the past. So now we're at number 9. The midfield is starting, and this for me is the hardest part of this list to rank, because from about 9 until 6, it's very hard for me to actually place these cars because they're all good, but they're all not great. So it's just kind of picking which ones I kind of like a bit more. But for this, number 9, it's going to have to go to the ART Grand Prix, driven by Christian Lundgaard and Marcus Armstrong. As you can tell on Armstrong's car, it's his because it just literally says his name on the side of it. But regardless, I am not a fan of this car in the midfield. It's that big splotch of blue in the middle, and then the red lines going through the white is just, there's not much cohesion to this livery. I feel like there was like 3 different guys designing this car, and they didn't want to be mean to any of them, so they just kind of said, you can all have your design, it's fine, but it doesn't work for me. It looks very sloppy, and again, ART in the past has had some good-looking cars. Again, particularly Nikita Mazepin's 2019 car was hot. It was hot. All right, now we've arrived at number 8, and this is a car that initially, when it first launched and we saw the livery for it, I almost threw up because I thought it was ugly, but it's actually grew on me just a little bit, and now it's kind of in the middle of my rankings. It's going to go to the High Tech Grand Prix, a brand new entry for the sport into F2. I believe they're in F3 as well, but this is their first entry into F2, driven by Luca Giotto and Nikita Mazepin. It's silver and red. It looks kind of boring, but it also works for me. The way the lines flow through the car and the way the jagged black on the bottom looks actually really nice, and it looks really good on track. I think the problem is on a static image, it doesn't look very special, but once it's moving on the track and it's going zippity quick, it looks pretty good. Now we've arrived at number 7. I'm going to give it to Campos Racing, driven by Jack Aitken and Wilhelm Samaya. Hope I'm saying that right. I don't think I am, but regardless, this car is fine. It looks fine. I like the color scheme, I really do. It definitely does the orange and black better than the MP did. But my problem is again, I don't know if it's just the image I have here from preseason, but it's lacking sponsorships. Maybe I'll slap on a bigger WTF1 logo onto it, but it looks fine. Honestly, I do like the different design. It looks pretty cool. I'm here for it. It looks at least somewhat different from other cars on the grid. So honestly, it goes right in the middle of the pack for me, but yeah, it looks a bit blank right now. All right, now at number 6 on the list, we arrive at the weirdest name probably in Formula 2. It is BWT HWA Race Lab. Just super weird, but regardless, it is driven by Artem Markelov and Giuliano Alesi, and in this Racing Point, you're listening? This is how you make a BWT livery look good. This is how you do it. You put the BWT sideways, you put the big logo on the side pod. This is how you make a Pink Panther look good. Listen up, Racing Point. I know you're probably not watching this video, but still, please take some notes. Now, my one gripe with this livery is not the livery's fault per se, but it's the fact that Giuliano Alesi drives in the Ferrari Driver Academy, because Ferrari, you gotta change this logo. It makes the cars look stupid. You make them plaster it on the side of a pink car? Are you kidding me? Ferrari, I know, again, you're probably watching this video too. Change this logo now, please. It's ugly. It needs to stop. Modernize it a bit. Make it a bit better looking. Let the drivers put it somewhere else where it's not just slapped on the side of the car. I beg you, please. All right, and now we're in my top 5 F2 liveries from the 2020 season. We're kicking things off with a car that has just always looked good because it has a good color palette. It is the Trident. It is just such a good looking car. The blue, white, and red is a bit overused in F2, especially in 2018. It was just all there was. But a couple cars use the same color palette this year, but Trident makes it look very, very pretty, very flowing with the car. You guys know I like that. But once again, I'm not sure if it's this image that I have, but it looks very blank. It looks very empty in terms of sponsorships, which makes it look very motorsport managery. So it's a good looking car. Slap some logos on it. It looks even better. I'm happy with you, Trident. You made just a solid, good looking car. And honestly, it's so hard because these top 5 are so interchangeable for me. Any one of these could easily be number 1, but number 4 for me right now is going to be the Charouz Boys of Charouz Racing, driven by Louis Delatraz and Pedro Piquet. Oh, this is a good looking car. So again, it's using the same red, white, and blue color palette, which was used by Trident, but these guys do it so much better. If you don't know, this is a team based in the Czech Republic, and the Czech Republic flag looks like this. And this car looks like the Czech Republic flag, but they did it in a very artsy way, and it just works so freaking well. I absolutely love the way this car looks, especially on track. These cars look so good when they're going at, like just under 300 kilometers an hour. Oh my gosh, this is such a good looking car. Absolutely love it. Charouz, you did such a good job. So now we're into the top 3. This is where things get very juicy because, again, interchangeable. Could put these things absolutely anywhere, but the Dams car has always been one of my favorites on the F2 grid. It is unique, it has a good color palette, and it just looks so cool. Like, there's no actual rhyme or reason to anything going on. It just looks very edgy and futuristic almost. Like, I could see this being driven in, like, Tron or something like that, but it's just such a good look. The only problem with this team are its very controversial drivers of the KFC King, Jean Calais, and Dan Ticktum, who's just kind of a not so nice driver. I mean, you can't just take someone out because they accidentally ran into you. And that's another video in and of itself. I believe Josh Revel has a video on him. I'll link that in the card up above or in the description down below. But this car looks so good. Take the KFC logo off and you have a very good looking car. But I've always loved this car. It looks just so clean, so edgy, very nice. Good job, Dams. And now number 2, we've got the Prema boys of Mick Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman. Now this is where things get interesting, especially with my top 2, number 1 and Prema. They both have different liveries for each driver. If you don't know how it works, basically in F2, each driver has their own backings and their own sponsorships. So depending on which car you're looking at, you might see different companies on the car. And when it comes to a team like this or the next team above, basically the livery changes with it because the driver has an actual sponsorship that wants a different color on the car. So, Prema, which one do I like more? Definitely got to go with Robert Schwartzman's because as I mentioned in my Perez video, I don't like green on cars. It's just not my favorite color. So Mick Schumacher, your livery is fine, I just don't like the green, and Schwartzman's edges it out. I know, again, it is blue, white, and red, but it works really well. What I do like that they did is they really led into the shark fin, the very sharp shark fin. As much as I like it, they led into it very well. The whole bottom half of the car is red, and again, looks really good on track, and it's just a very clean, good-looking, simple little car. I like it. All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for. It's my number 1, the one you've all been waiting for, I'm sure. If you know F2 at all, you probably don't know what team it is, but you probably don't know which driver it is. Yes, it is going to be Uni Virtuosi, but again, we have this crossroads. Guan Yu Zhou, Callum Ilott, they have different liveries, vastly different liveries on their car. So it's the same base design, but Guan Yu has the yellow, which looks very much like the Renault, and then Callum has the red. Oh my gosh, Callum Ilott, you have the best looking car on the F2 grid. It just looks so good. I know it's a very simple design. There's not much going on with it, but matte black and matte red just looks so good on this car. The only gripe I have with it, again, is not their fault. It's that stupid Ferrari Driver Academy logo. Take that off, and this car is just perfect. The Uni Virtuosi logo is so nice. The car just looks so stealthy and so good. And MKBHD, this is the car for you. If you were to be a racing driver, this is your car. Matte black and red. Oh, this is just such a good looking car. The second I saw it when it was announced, I could not take my eyes off of it. And now whenever Callum is doing well in those races, I'm happy because we get more screen time of this just beautiful livery. So yes, there it is. The 2020 F2 livery is ranked from worst to best. This is scientific fact. You cannot go back on this. But yeah, I hope this video has enlightened you guys on what F2 is, and I hope it urges you to watch it. If you have it available in your region, I highly suggest it. The battles are always super close, and the races are always tight and exciting to watch. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to lick the stamp, send that subscribe button down below, and comment. Let me know what you thought was your favorite F2 livery from this season. Tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm right, and don't miss the apex. Peace.